Alright, spectator delay has finished counting down. Let's head in. See what AoHD picked. It had to be Nomad. Of course it did. So we're going to have 3v3 Nomad. Toady, Tetrades and LB, so the same lineup for HD again. They may need to make some lineup changes for the fourth because I think LB has only got about another 40 minutes or so to play. Then for Aliens and Predators, they've changed their team lineup once again. Their leader Chris has shown up, and he's joined by Ra and the Max, who have each played one game up to this point. Max plays a ton of Nomad, so he's really in his element here. And Chris formed a strong team with Slam, I think, in Nomadness. I think I'm right in saying that. Wow, the X is really coming out here as LB kind of just shows where the water is. So, a little bit of a difference in civilizations here. Obviously, we see Vikings for both teams, which is essential, really. And then Persians for both teams, but Chinese for LB10, which is the civ he normally plays on Nomad. I remember him playing it in RTSL. But Mayans for Ra. Ra really likes the Meso civs, so not terribly surprising, although Chinese often considered amongst the strongest Nomad civs. If you can get a good start, then they are very strong indeed. You can find the right resources, find your TC spot early. A lot of pausing going on at the start here. Hopefully we don't get a pause for too long here. Maybe the players are considering a restart. We did get a restart used in game 1, although I did see a bit of discussion about whether something was a bug, I think. So I don't know whether it was a bugged map restart or a team restart in game 1, so I'm not sure whether one team has burned their restart or not. Oh, they're looking for the rules. Let me tab out and link them. So I wonder what they've done that is causing them to query the rules. But game's running at least, so I mean the thing that stands out is that it looks like LB was gonna lose a villager to Ra's TC going up at the start, which I don't know if that's allowed before all the TCs are up. Oh, LB, you went idle next to that for so long, and then you don't act. And he survives. He's gonna lane the deer. Oh, and the villager goes down. We can restart. Let's go back. I think we both broke rules, says Chris. We can't kill the deer, and sorry, you can't kill the deer, and we can't kill your villager. So before minute 4 game time, it is not allowed to block another TC being built by using villagers, intentionally kill enemy boar, villagers, sheep or deer, or sit under an enemy TC to steal sheep. After minute 4, players are free to do any of the above. So both teams breaking the rules there, so they're just doing an admin restart. Back just in time. Okay, so this is the restart of Game 3 between AoHD and Aliens and Predators. We had a restart in the previous game because both teams broke the rules about what you can do with your villagers before the first few minutes of their game have elapsed and everybody has their TCs up. So that was just an admin restart, neither team using their restart in that instance. We got a 3v3 on the AoHD home map, which is Nomad, Toady, Tetrades and LB back from the previous games, and Aliens and Predators have rotated their lineup a bit. Max playing as Persians in the purple, Chris playing as Vikings in the green. That's the first game in this series for him, and Ra playing in yellow as the Mayans. Toady's playing in red as Vikings, Tetrades playing in blue as Persians. Wow, close TCs. He's going to have a matchup against Ra here. This is begging for towers to go up on these woodlines and stuff. And then LB playing in teal as the Chinese. So we've got different civilizations. Aliens and Predators forgoing Chinese, which is more conventional, and Ra going with Mayans, but Ra loves Meso civs, so no surprise, well, not terribly surprising. And Mayans are a good nomad civ as well, the extra villager, and the economy in general, making them a pretty good choice as well. And in addition, you know, FC Castle Raid with Plumes works out pretty well. So let's have a look at TC locations now that the TCs are up and we can see how the kind of start each player is going to have. Let's look at the Fog of War as well. So Ra sees 3 boars, sees stone for the castle that he would inevitably like to go for, sees gold as well. Not a lot else in this area. Wow, look, that's a TC almost in the sea from Chris, but the amount of shorefish that he's going to get, that's fantastic. So Tetrade's in such a hard spot here. He's going to be basically have 2 of very, very good players indeed, who also have a lot of experience playing together. Ra and Chris being the 2 Canadians, of course, on his doorstep. And then over here, TC fight between Toady and the Max. The Max is almost at the edge of the map, almost a Boer TC. I know you're watching Super Boer. With loads of sheep and 2 boars, and could even go up here and get 3 berry patches and some deer as well. So Max has lots of food here. Toady has a few sheep to keep him going for a bit. He could come up here and find that stuff as well. Let's just quickly look at points of view for these 2 players. Max, we'll find out that Toady's there soon enough. Toady, don't know if he knows yet. Don't know whether you see those cut trees in the fog or not when you're playing. Sometimes the Fog of War behaves a little bit differently when you're specking. Anyway, remaining players, LB right in the middle of the map. We saw he got a shorefish, which is fantastic for a Chinese to start off with. And he's found plenty of sheep. He's not really a villager ahead though at this moment, so it hasn't been a perfect start for him. Which TC haven't I found yet? No, I found them all, haven't I? Then just having a look at docks, we've got Max left corner, west corner, all by himself with tons. Closest player to him is Toady, who's also the closest player here to him on land, although there's a lot more distance between their docks than their TCs. Toady's probably going to be the one greshing though, so be interesting, like which way is he going to go with his gresh? Will he go west or will he go east? He knows landlock on the west, so he may go east, and that means that Max may be left to Fishboom here. But LB10 is doing his dock right here. Did his villager approach from the correct angle to see? He only sees a house. That's be important to keep an eye on, because I don't know if HD have found Max's dock just yet. Chris in a nice spot as well. Tons of fish on this map. It's just a generally fish heavy map. Wow. Dead villager. Would that have been Tet wandering up there? Let's switch to his point of view. Yeah, I think that he's walled this bit, and then he's gone down there with the villagers to come back along the shoreline and blundered straight into Chris's TC. He doesn't know where Ra is at the moment. Does Ra know? Yeah, Ra doesn't really see that going on either. Chris? No. It's really bugging me about whether you would be able to see those chopped trees in the Fog of War in game. I just can't remember. Any failure on Nomad is pretty much a Boer play. Especially attracting all the opponents to focus on you. Well, that is going to be the strategy of Tet here. I mean, if Tet can occupy 2 players of the Canada plus the Max team, if he can occupy the 2 Canadian players and slow them down a bit, latch himself onto them like Coccolino, then maybe that's going to give LB the breathing room to boom up and become a decisive factor later on. It's interesting to note that everybody is in the northern part of the map, and LB is basically sitting in the middle, controlling land access to all of the southern part. Toady wanted to team wall in, not team wall, but just wall in, completely seal in the Max. That hasn't been sealed up. He's put Palisade, no, that's Max's Palisade. But Max has got out with villagers and he's going to go down to this deer patch, is he? Will he drop a mill there? Maybe? Don't know where he's going. Indecision. He's going to gold, okay. LB's up. Sorry, it's not up, but sorry, his dock's up here. Chris is building a dock here too. He's the Viking, so he's the one who's going to rush, and we have 3 docks from 3 different players right on top of each other. Where are Chris's other docks? He's got one here. Did he make one here as well? Yeah. Chris is going to do like a scattered grush by the looks of it. He's going to do galleys from 3 docks in 3 different parts of the map, which could be a kind of lightning fast attack on all of the AoHD fish. He's actually by far the quickest to feudal age. Only Toady has clicked up for, well, up until LB clicked. Only Toady was on his way up for HD. He's the grushing player as well. Ra's not far behind him though as the Mayans player. He's going to stone heavily, so he's going to do FC castle drop plumes most likely. Max is on his way, LB's on his way. So let's see what Chris is doing from his docks. Galleys from all docks. And Max will have seen this fishing from LB. Don't know if they know where Toady is right now, although, yeah, they do. Look at that random radar house from Chris has revealed where Toady is. But Chris's first galley is going to head to the north, and it looks like they're going to go and clean up Tet on the water. Or he's going to go and clean up Tet on the water as his first move. Tet with 2 docks. Fish booming right now, but he's 3 docks actually. This is a mega fish boom, but it feels like he's going to end up losing that because he's the one who's only now clicking to the feudal age. Could lose a lot of those fishing ships before he's in the castle age and doing fire ships. That's a huge number of fishing ships though, 16. Not going to have any problems FCing with that. Left hand side tower has come up from Toady, taking Max away from this wood line, and he's basically walled in this area as well, so Max has not got much space to work with apart from those villages that he has outside of the barrier that Toady has built around him. He's going to put up a stable there and try and hit Toady on the land, maybe with scouts. Where are Chris's galleys? Let's see. Yeah, there's a couple here that have chased LB away from his dock, and LB's hiding his fishing ships in the corner. Chris is hitting Toady in his harbour, but Toady is grushing from 3 docks all in the same place, so Toady will have local superiority here. May even be able to push out and start hitting Chris's fish, because these are unprotected. The Max is up, so he's not going to do scouts in the stable. He'll FC and do knights. He did get the boars, of course. I don't think Toady had any boars. But obviously we won't expect Toady to be going up either because he's crashing the AoHD. Tet is starting to have his fishing ships chased down, but although he's got tons fleeing, he still has tons more working. Even doing wheelbarrow. But with, apart from lacking a little bit of gold, is he mining gold anywhere? Right, yeah, he is. He's basically ready to go up once those buildings come up. Chris continuing to pick off fish. Tet's doing 1 or 2 galleys from here, which, considering Chris has split all of his galleys across the map, he may be able to fight that off with galleys. But that is eating into the gold that he's trying to get to click up. Toady's obviously rebuffing Chris from here, but not really pushing out into the rest of the map and doing damage to the fishing economies of the aliens and predators team. I really want to say alien versus predator every time, or just call them AVP. Seems like Tet will probably clean up Chris from his harbour, but he has gone down to a lot fewer fishing ships than he did have. Some of them are counting as idle villagers, I think, as we see on the overlay. Because he's definitely got more than 5 fishing ships. But he'll be able to keep those intact into the castle age by the looks of it. Ra down here is double dock fish beaming uninterrupted. Toady hasn't made his way up there. Toady has grushed, but he hasn't really left home. He's had a few pesky galleys from Chris in his fishing, and he's mainly been focused on dealing with those rather than hitting the other players. And now Chris is actually going to hit him with a lot more galleys than he has thus far, and Toady needs to turn and fight that. That's about 8v8, so micro is going to be important here. Chris seems to be getting a few extra volleys to start off with. 2 galleys in one going down in one moment there for Toady. You see a couple of splits from Toady, but he's still taking hits. Fletching kicked him for him. Does Chris have it yet? Yeah, he does. Of course he does. And now it looks like Toady's fishing ships are all going to go down. They're getting caught out there as Toady's galleys retreat. I think he had roughly equal numbers against Chris at the start of that fight, but he didn't want to take the micro battle. Ra's casters come up in a nice spot, securing this main gold for both him and Chris actually, and hitting a lot of Tet's economy. Like, Tet is going to be driven into the sea here. Let's have a look at the left hand side. I have looked away from here for a little bit too long, I think. But Toady's walling up. Max is stable. That's nice for him, but that's a bunch of vills that are going to get picked off by one knight. This is painful to see for LP. Lots more towers from Toady, and Max is in a bad spot once again. It's kind of reminiscent of the first game where he didn't really have space to do eco, and he was getting just pushed really early on. Nothing much going on there. Toady's water presence has been more or less cleaned up. I'm struggling to see whether he has any more galleys left in the water. I do want to change to his point of view and do military view. Nothing much left on the water apart from this handful. He's obviously focused on fighting Max on land now. So aliens and predators will win the water here, I think. Chris will win the water for his team. Be interesting to see if he transitions to a sling afterwards. As Vikings, because that's not an uncommon play for Vikings nomads. Grush win the water sling. Toady's matched up in a land battle against the Max, but yeah, winning the water will be crucial for aliens versus predators. No, and predators, because you know, just having access to all the fish on the map, particularly on a map like this where there are some nice huge seas in the corners with very plentiful fishing indeed. That's so important and such a great benefit. How's LB doing? Just booming pretty much by the looks of it. Don't see too much going on for him. Besides that, I'm going to take this gold over here that the Max has been driven away from. LB doing fire ships, which is cleaning up Max's fishing, and that's really important if you're looking at this from an AoHD perspective, because Max is struggling to have any kind of economy on land now. I mean, look at this. Where are his villagers working on land? I don't know. Can't really see any. Some of them migrating. So if you clean up his fish as well, that kind of takes Max a little bit out of the game. But whether it is enough to deal with the advantage that Chris's team has on water in the long run, I don't know. And the issue is for AoHD is that Tetrades is really coming under a lot of pressure right now. Ra's destroying his TC with the fire from the castle. Tet doesn't have much space to do eco here. He's kind of stonewalled everything off and tried to migrate down here, but it's not ideal to be migrating this stage of the game. And Ra is actually here with a TC of his own that he's built with one villager. That was his dock building ville, I think. And he sees that Tet's moved down here. Sees the farms as well. Chris is piling on top of Tet's docks, and Tet has lost all his fishing ships down to 30 population. So he's basically in the same situation as the Max. The only difference is that the Max doesn't have many villagers working, whereas Tet at least has a few more working. Oh wow, this is really important here. Ra doing great plumed archer raining here. Interception, so important to stop LB getting up that TC on 2 extra gold spots there. Really nice timing from Ra. Maybe fortuitous, but nice nonetheless. And Ra's picking up lots of kills with his plumed archers here. Really AoHD not locking in. Great spot right now. And also it's like LB has been slowed down dramatically. He was the person who was kind of away from the enemy team who could have free boomed, but Ra is just the one who's surging ahead. He did a castle and then he's done a handful of plumes, but with the aid of still having his double dock fish boom powering his land economy, he's really surged ahead and he's up to 76 villagers. I wouldn't be surprised if he's clicks Imperial Age within the next 3 or 4 minutes. Toadie's now switched to a sling to LB10, but LB is far behind, even receiving sling with where LB is. I almost feel as if Ra would beat him 1v1 anyway, even with LB under sling, receiving sling. Chris in a very dominant position on the water. He's blockading docks everywhere, destroying fishing ships, and keeping the fishing working for his team. Max has 37 villages at this point. He's got them working, so just looking in the chat, Robo saying Max is so boned. He's only got 28 vills and 24 rider, but he's recovered from that now. With Toadie slinging and just doing towers, it creates a bit of room for him. So and Tet is doing 2 stable knights by the looks of it, but not really with much economy to continue pumping that. It's not 2 stable knights, it's a scout in each of his stables. I don't know whether that's a feint or what. So Tet's villagers that were in the northern part have had to flee. They've stonewalled up on their way out, but that won't stop aliens and predators for long. Ra's kind of mangonel down that starting TC, and Tet is migrating entirely down here, but A and P see it, and Ra's on his way to Imp as I suspected. LB also clicking up. Tet's doing coinage too, so basically, it looks like HD's plan to try and stay alive in this game is double slinging LB10, who has very little economy of his own. Obviously, double sling, even if it's a weak sling, will put him in a decent position in terms of economy, but he's not going to take on the entire AMP team by himself, especially as Ra has boomed up so strongly. Chris isn't far behind in terms of boom. He's certainly got a lot more economy than LB has. And to be honest, with the state that the AoHD economy is in and lacking the food from the water, the sling barely adds up to the difference in villagers even between like LB and Chris, especially with the tax that's on it as well. With Toadie doing a feudal age sling and not even getting coinage because this is Wick mod, and Tet doing castle age sling only with coinage. Ra picking off 5 or 6 more vills here. perhaps even 1 or 2 more there. So that has really weakened Ted. He's down to 27 bills. All down to LB. He's got to push fast here. He's got to stop aliens and predators from just smothering them in the later game. But whether he has the ability to do that right now, I don't see it. Of course, I'd like to, as an AoHD member myself, but I don't see it. I feel like aliens and predators got this one in the bag. Ra's going to continue to do great harassment of Tetrades over here. As he hits Imperial Age, and Chris has clicked up as well. So that's shortly going to be two players in the Imperial Age for aliens and predators, and both of those will have about 100 vils compared to around 60 or so of LB, who is receiving a double sling, but a very weak sling indeed. The only thing that can be said is that Max is still kind of out of the game. He's suffering tower fire, and even one Cavalier in the economy is doing tons of damage because Max just doesn't have a way of taking it out particularly. But nonetheless, GG being called. Toadie says nice base, Max. He's pleased with his work, the damage that he did to Max. But Chris just won the water decisively. Ra, after doing a castle drop, just boomed so well. And the AoHD fell too far behind. Double slinging LB with such weak economies, and LB's having such a weak economy himself was never going to pay off. And GG. So 2-1 for aliens and predators. So this is going to be the decisive final match to figure out if it's 2-2 or if it's 3-1 to either team, and whether one team will claim 3 points in the group stage or 1 point, like in football. LB10 has to leave now, unfortunately, which means that one of either Bullet Chen or Myrinkos, aka Little Yo, will have to replace them, which is going to weaken the HD team somewhat, considering LB10 is one of, if not the best players in the team. Ra says, we're happy to reschedule as long as you also agree to replay the first game. Robo's asking if it's time for me to carry, but it's most certainly not. First of all, I'm not streaming my point of view on the Vibly Official, and yet I have to stream. And second of all, I've been commentating and casting for a long time, and I'm tired and hungry. I can't play. Okay, Bullet Chen's being a good sport, and he's gonna up. But Bullet Chen says he's drunk, so because his national team, football team, Switzerland, were playing in the Euros earlier. So not going to be his greatest performance here.
No.